Additional matters pertaining to Kamma. There are several more important points pertaining to Kamma. Some of these points help to prevent serious misunderstandings from arising, while others help to complete one's understanding of this subject. A. What is the cause for happiness and suffering? Several teachings by the Buddha emphasize how volitional actions, Kamma, and their results proceed in line with cause and effect. For example, conditioned by ignorance, a person produces volitional acts of the body, kaya sankara, volitional acts of speech, vaci sankara, volitional acts of mind, mano sankara, either self-generated or owing to other agents, either knowingly or unknowingly. Similarly, the Buddha refuted the doctrine of karmic autogenesis, Attakaravada, which states that happiness and suffering are entirely self-determined, and the doctrine of karmic heterogenesis, Parakaravada, which states that happiness and suffering are entirely caused by external factors. One must investigate each distinctive process in order to determine the degree of involvement by oneself and or by external factors. One should not make a definitive judgment based on a simple glance or analysis. These teachings help to prevent the extreme misunderstanding of karma, that all things arise exclusively due to one's own actions, without taking into account external or environmental factors that play a participatory role. Here, it is important to distinguish between the principle of Kamma as a natural law of Kamma and from the perspective of ethical conduct. So far, the discussion has focused on Kamma as a natural law, which pertains to natural dynamics of volitional action, and which incorporate all of the myriad causes and conditions involved. The teachings on Kamma related to ethics, however, are practical and are aimed for those who are encouraged to apply these teachings. They are mainly focused on individual people who must take full and entire responsibility for their own intentional actions. For these teachings, example, the Buddha's teaching, one is one's own refuge. To fulfill their true objective, they begin by emphasizing personal responsibility. Besides emphasizing the need to help oneself and to initiate actions, these teachings also point to a relationship to other people's actions, that is, for other people to successfully offer assistance to oneself. One must first establish self-reliance. One's self-reliance will influence the degree of assistance others are willing to give, and it also influences one's own response to such external assistance. Through the proper investigation, one sees how the principle of Kamma as a natural law and the principle of Kamma in relation to ethics are not contradictory, rather they are mutually supportive. Misinterpretations of Kamma. There are three wrong views pertaining to happiness and suffering that need to be distinguished from the Buddhist teaching on Kamma. 1. Past action determinism, Pubbe kata hetu vada, Pubbe kata vada. The belief that all happiness and suffering is a result of past karma. to theistic determinism, Isara ni mang na hetu vada, Isara nimitta vada, the belief that all happiness and suffering is created by a supreme God. 3. Indeterminism or accidentalism, ahetu apacaya vada, ahetu vada, the belief that all happiness and suffering arises dependent on arbitrary acts of fate without cause or condition. These wrong views are described in this sutta passage. Monks, there are these 3 sectarian tenets, which, when questioned, interrogated, and cross-examined by the wise, are attributed to passed down traditions, and which are firmly established in the principle of non-doing, akiriya. What are the 3? 1. There are some ascetics and Brahmins who hold such a doctrine and view as this: whatever a person experiences, whether pleasure, pain, or neither pleasure nor pain, all that is caused by what was done in the past. Pibe karahetu. 2. There are other ascetics and Brahmins who hold such a doctrine and view as this: whatever a person experiences, whether pleasure, pain, or neither pleasure nor pain, all that is caused by God's creative power. Isara nim ma na hetu. 3. And there are still other ascetic and Brahmins who hold such a doctrine and view as this: whatever a person experiences, whether pleasure, pain, or neither pleasure nor pain, all that occurs without the cause or condition. Ahetu apacaya. Monks, I approached that first group of ascetics and Brahmins, and I asked them, is it true that you venerable ones hold such a doctrine and view? When I asked them this, and they affirm it, then I said to them, in such a case, it is due to past deeds that you might destroy life, take what is not given, indulge in sexual activity, speak falsehood, and hold wrong view. Those who hold back on past deeds as the essential truth have no desire or endeavour in this respect. This should be done, this should be avoided. Since they do not truly apprehend that which should be done and that which should be avoided, these ascetics and Brahmins are deluded and devoid of safeguards. They possess no legitimate personal doctrine of an ascetic. This was my first legitimate censure of those ascetics and Brahmins who hold such a doctrine and view. Monks, I approached that second group of ascetics and Brahmins, and I asked them, is it true? Then I said to them, in such a case it is due to God's creative power that you might destroy life, take what is not given, indulge in sexual activities, speak falsehood, and hold a wrong view. Those who fall back on God's creative activity as the essential truth have no desire or endeavour in this respect. This should be done, this should not be done. This should be done, this should be avoided. Monks, I approached that third group of ascetics and Brahmins, and I asked them, is it true? Then I said to them, in such a case it is without a cause and condition that you might destroy life, take what is not given, indulge in sexual activity, speak falsehood, and hold a wrong view. Those who fall back on an absence of cause and conditions are the essential truth. As the essential truth, have no desire or endeavour in this respect. This should be done, this should be avoided. The first doctrine of past action determinism was held by the Naganta Jains, as confirmed by this sutta passage. Monks, there are some recluses and Brahmins who hold such a doctrine and view as this: whatever a person feels, whether pleasure or pain, or whatever kind of feeling, all that is caused by what was done in the past. So by annihilating through asceticism past actions, and by doing no fresh actions, there will be no binding authority in the future. With no binding authority in the future, there is the destruction of action. With the destruction of action, there is the destruction of suffering. With the destruction of suffering, there is the destruction of feeling. With the destruction of feeling, all suffering will be exhausted. So speak the Nagantas monks. Here is a similar sutta passage. Some feelings, Sivaka, arise originating from bile disorders, produced by a change of climate, produced by irregular exercise, caused by assault, produced as the result of Kamma. Those ascetics and Brahmins hold such a doctrine and view as this: whatever feeling a person experiences, whether pleasure, pain, or neither pleasure nor pain, all that is caused by what was done in the past. I say that this is wrong on the part of those ascetics and Brahmins. These teachings by the Buddha prevent people from falling into extreme or unreasonable views, whereby they only understand Kamma in the context of actions performed in the past. By holding to such views, people simply sit around waiting for the results of past Kamma to determine their destiny. They do not consider how to actively improve themselves in the present. These misunderstandings develop into pernicious forms of wrong view, as described in the passages above. Moreover, one can clearly see from these words that the Buddha regarded determined effort to be at the heart of his teachings on Kamma. The value of these teachings is determined by their relationship to effort. These teachings by the Buddha do not negate past Kamma. It is acknowledged that past Kamma is involved in the causal process and influences the present moment. These past and present are both part of the process of cause and effect. The key principle here is that past Kamma is connected to causality. It is not related to some kind of presumed supernatural truth to which one must entrust one's destiny. A clear understanding of dependent origination, in particular, will help to dispel any doubts about this matter. This may be compared to someone who climbs up a 3-story building. It is irrefutable that the arrival at the 3rd floor is dependent on that person's action, the act of walking up the stairs. And once up on the 3rd floor, it is impossible for this person to reach out his hand and touch the ground, or to get in a car and drive around as if he was on the road. These similarly irrefutable facts are also dependent on his climbing up to the 3rd floor. In the same way, were he to feel exhausted from climbing and unable to go up or down until he had a rest, that exhaustion too would be dependent on his actions. It is beyond question that the arrival at the 3rd floor, the range of activities available at this location, and the need to engage with whatever objects are found here are all consequences of a previous action, of having walked up the stairs. But whatever the person does, whatever that person then does, whether it entails interacting with those things found in this place, having a rest, or descending the stairs, are all based on new decisions. There is a range of possibilities, and each choice leads to specific results. Although the previous actions may still be exerting an effect, for example, the man may be tired from walking, It is up to him whether to give in to this tiredness and have a rest, or whether to respond to it in some other way. All of these factors, including past karma, are part of a causal process. Based on an understanding of dependent origination, one can benefit from past karma by drawing lessons from it, strengthening reasoned discernment, and increasing an understanding of various phenomena, including an understanding of one's current mental disposition, so that one can make plans for the present and act to bring about good results in the future.